Marigold Linton was raised on the Morongo reservation, due east of Claremont. She is Kawia Kupeño and an enrolled member of the Morongo Band of Mission Indians. Raised in poverty, Linton overcame adversity to become, in 1954, the first Indian from a California reservation to attend college, the University of California, Riverside. There she earned a bachelor's degree in psychology, graduating with a straight A record. At one point along the way, incredulous about her consistently high grades, she asked the registrar for her real ones. I have never had a student do that. Receiving official confirmation, she redoubled her efforts to maintain that high level of achievement, and so she did. Graduate work at the University of Iowa followed. Linton's PhD in experimental psychology was awarded by UCLA, and her first academic appointment at San Diego State University was divided between counseling and teaching psychology. During her decade there, she rose from the rank of instructor to the rank of full professor, specializing within psychology within the field of long-term memory. In 1969, she helped found the National Indian Education Association, a nonprofit advocacy organization that helps to ensure that American Indians, Alaskan Natives, and Native Hawaiian community members have a strong and national voice in the education of Native people. Subsequently, at Arizona State University, Linton directed a variety of programs that focused on improving educational opportunities for American Indians. Her work included developing science and mathematics opportunities for students, creating a bridge program for reservation students, and providing developmental activities for 29 schools in 19 Arizona reservations. In 1998, Linton began her service as Director of American Indian Outreach at the University of Kansas, which has worked tirelessly in partnership with Haskell University to enhance Native American education in the biomedical sciences. Dr. Linton is a founder and a former president of SACNAS, Society for the Advancement of Chicanos and Native Americans in Science, and remains active in the organization. In 2009, at the recommendation of the National Science Foundation, she was presented with a Presidential Award for Excellence in Science, Mathematics, and Engineering Mentoring. Of the awardees, President Obama said, quote, "Their devotion to the educational enrichment and personal growth of their students is remarkable. And these awards represent just a small token of our enormous gratitude." Dr. Linton now makes her home in Arizona, but continues her involvement in American Indian outreach at the University of Kansas. Currently, she serves on the Committee on Equal Opportunities in Science and Engineering, a congressionally mandated advisory committee of the National Science Foundation. Her hobbies include gardening, photography, reading mysteries, and can this be true? Walking and hiking more than 50 miles a week. Mr. President, on behalf of the Board of Trustees and the faculty of Pomona College, it is my great honor to present to you Marigold Linton for the honorary degree of Doctor of Education.
Marigold Linton, by the power vested in me by the Board of Trustees, I confer upon you the degree of Doctor of Education in Pomona College, honoris causa.
I am honored and my heart is full to be receiving this degree from Pomona College with you all today. Thank you, President Oxtoby, the Board of Trustees, for making this award possible. And because I know awards don't result from magic, I would also like to thank those who supported my receiving the award. To the Pomona College graduates of 2012, many of us, parents and loved ones, have sat where you are today. One of the things about being older, we can look back over the decades. We have accomplished some, but not all of the things we wanted. I mean, the party in San Diego, I missed. And through the miracle of memory, we can see ourselves where you are now. I hope through the miracle of words to help you see yourselves where we are now. When I was some years younger, I began to dream. I was looking forward and I was planning. Although this was long ago, it wasn't another galaxy and it wasn't that far away. The Morongo reservation near Banning, just 49.7 miles from here. I had only a small plan. I always describe my early perspective and planning as being like standing on the branches of a very small tree and stretching to see as far as I could. As that young girl on the reservation, my plan involved perhaps the most difficult action I have ever undertaken: to leave the reservation where my family has lived for more than 100 years to get an education. Apparently, this was a very hard step because, as was indicated, I was the first California reservation Indian to have ever made that jump. It was only a few miles, probably 25, to the University of California, Riverside, but it was literally a world away. I know that some of you have made leaps that were as complex and as painful, and I commend you for making those life-changing transitions. Now, at the university, I was standing on the branches of a taller tree, and I could see further. Simply surviving was replaced by getting, I was going to say good grades, but apparently great grades. Eventually, I could see a PhD, becoming a full professor, and having a research career studying memory. By this time, I was perched on a pretty tall tree. I had them put in the sycamores so I could point. I was on a pretty tall tree and had a much broader view of the world. I had become successfully far beyond my wildest imagination. I had proved that I could succeed in white man's world. I got married. I gestured to my husband and my family, and have developed a 30-year partnership with someone who supports my ideas and who teams with me to make them real. Do that if you can. Then, to everyone's surprise, I jumped. Just imagine me as a middle-aged Ms. Tarzan, leaping high from high in my secure tree to a second tree, ululating as I swung Tarzan-like. Ooh, ooh, ooh. You remember? I wish that at the time I could say I fully understood why I had done this. I wish I could say I landed gracefully on the branch of my new tree. It was actually more like splat and not so high. As I slowly came to understand my actions, I realized I was moving to help my people and that I didn't exactly know how to do it. This was in part because I was chartering territory where no man or woman had ever gone before. I ultimately developed collaborations between the University of Kansas and Haskell Indian Nations, where none had existed, although they stood less than 2 miles apart for more than 100 years. I learned how to build teams, big teams, and I learned to write grants that have yielded about $30 million in federal funds to assist American Indians and other minority students. I was blessed to be the president of SACNAS. I was blessed to be the president of SACNAS at a time that I was needed, and although SACNAS is the Society for the Advancement of Chicanos and Native Americans, we serve all people and have about 10% African Americans in our membership. And most interesting to me, I have done this at an age where most people have long been retired. Happily, unlike being a professor, which had its ups and downs, you know, pubs and so on, helping my people provides me joy every day. I have learned to do things that I thought were impossible for me, who am, in my heart of hearts, still a shy little girl from the reservation. But how is this relevant to you on your graduation day? What is it you see standing in the branches of your tree? And believe me, you may think it's majestic and high. It's probably about this high. What do you want to do? No matter where you start out, in today's world, you're going to be leaping between trees probably several times over the next 30, 40, or 50 years. You must plan so that you're ready for these changes, and there will be perhaps fewer splats. When our kid, she's an anthropologist, said she was learning Vietnamese and going to Vietnam to study minorities, I wondered why she couldn't study our minorities. But the world is getting smaller. We must all think globally. If I were her age now, like her, I would be worried about indigenous people around the world. I would be learning new languages, perhaps not Vietnamese, which is very hard, and I would be finding new trees to leap to. In the course of these satisfying problem-solving activities, I have acquired my adult Indian name. She walks with purpose. Mi'a ameke mereneme. I'm going to close with a quote from Lin Yutang. I have done my best. That is about all the philosophy of living one needs. Thank you, and the very best of luck as you find your own tall trees to climb.